Today we're going to be looking at some entitled exes who need a therapist, and these exes need a therapist immediately. My ex asked me to take her to pick up her boyfriend from jail, and this was her response. Really need some help. I'll pay you or whoever to help me. I need a ride at 11 tonight to go pick up my boyfriend from jail. Okay, so keep in mind she sent this message to her ex, like they broke up. She's literally asking her ex to drive her to jail to pick up her new boyfriend. I mean, that's a bit weird. I can't help you. Actually, no, I won't help you. She then decided to start ranting and raving. As you can see, people change. Just remember when you're down and out or in need of something and no one is there for you, remember this. F off. Go suck a oop and die. And then they send that back. I mean, to be fair, that's the best thing to do. Yeah, again, who does she think she is to literally message you and say, oh yeah, can you give me a lift to jail so it means I can pick up my boyfriend? I mean, you're gonna have to give her and her boyfriend a lift home as well. Talk about entitled exes. Like, who does this woman think she is? 3 years ago, my ex-wife was concerned about losing her alimony if she remarried. At the time, I said I'd pay for it at least another year. That was forgotten until this morning. For people who don't know what that is, it's basically financial support that a person is ordered by a court to give their spouse during separation or following divorce. So I think it's basically like a certain amount they get a year, just so it means that they're like financially stable. And apparently this ex forgot that it ended the day that she sent this message. So I'm wondering if I get a letter from a lawyer, if it's still on the table to get money if I get married. It's just so complicated, but it seems like that shouldn't be the main factor in your decision. You're the one that offered in the first place. I'm just following up. Always good to do. What do you mean always good? Good to avoid my questions without an answer? No, the offer expired, but thanks for following up. Since it expired, I'll just hold off at least another year in marriage because that doesn't expire for a long time. You do you. So this woman's literally not going to get married because she still wants to receive money. I mean, I feel bad for whoever she's going to marry because apparently she cares more about money than she does about them.
Entitled X. All you had to do was not cheat. I've posted before about my partner's entitled ex, who I will call Linda, not her real name. You can see my previous posts about Mother's Day and the situation with the kids' masks. I want to share some of the entitlement I've seen and heard about through the years. Keep in mind, these stories are several years old and we aren't looking for advice.
Okay, so we've got a few entitled stories. Look at us getting all the tea.
This first story was before my partner and I ever met. My partner and his ex had been together for 10 years, and they had 2 young children together. When they got engaged, they both agreed to go no contact with any exes. He was working 10-hour days with an hour commute each way. He would leave the house at 5:30 a.m. and get back around the same time in the p.m. He hated being away so much, but the pay and 4 work days is why he stayed. Linda worked part-time in a law office. She is a lawyer but at the time didn't participate in court. My partner told me how he would frequently come home to her already drunk, and Amazon packages piled up. She threw a fit when he added wine to their monthly budget because it pointed out how much she drank. Onto the story. He noticed that Linda had been pulling away. She had been acting off and secretive with her phone. He ended up looking at her email via their daughter's iPad. He found a conversation between her and her college ex-BF where she asks, "Are things over between us?" He responds, "I love you, but I have to think about my wife and kids." "You have to think about your family as well." After some more digging, he found lewd pictures they had exchanged.
Oh my god, imagine finding this on your daughter's iPad. Imagine if a daughter came across this. I mean, kids are very tech savvy, like you'd be surprised what kids can do. Nowadays I literally see 6-year-olds in TikTok. Like, it's actually quite scary. Kids are better at technology than me.
He asked if Linda when the last time she spoke to this ex. She lied to his face and said years. When he confronted her with the evidence, she said it was my partner's fault because he's working and she's stressed. Due to the kids, my partner didn't want to give up on the marriage just yet, and they decided to get couples counseling. The first counselor came down on both of them and let them see they both shared blame. Linda didn't like admitting something was her fault, and insisted that they change counselors. The second one laid everything at my partner's feet. Linda's cheating was his fault. The drinking was his fault. Everything that Linda did was his fault.
So because this father wants to save his marriage and wants to be able to give his children a good life, he goes out, works 4 days from like 5 to 5, which is a long shift, may I add. Apparently it's his fault. The wife literally drinks a lot and cheats. We've done videos and therapists before, and I'm telling you, some of these therapists are absolutely crazy.
While they were attending the sessions, he noticed the signs again. Linda was pulling away and secretive with her phone. Once again he looked. Linda had met someone on an exercise app. They were playing 20 questions and getting to know each other in an overly familiar way. Most was innocent, but they started talking about how they both liked great sex. He also found out that they had a FaceTime movie date while he was away with their daughter. The next time while they were in therapy, he brought it up. The counselor was stunned, turns to Linda, and says, "You had one job. Don't cheat, and you couldn't do that." Not long afterwards, Linda asked for a divorce. My partner knew it was over but begged to stay. With his work schedule, he knew he wouldn't be able to see the kids as frequently as he wanted. His main goal since has been to get 50-50 custody, which he eventually did.
That divorce for him might be a blessing in disguise. Because think of it, you know, he really wanted to be with the wife, he wanted his family, you know, to work, and she just didn't. It's also quite selfish for her because, like, she doesn't realize her actions are going to affect the family. You know, the kids are going to be brought up in a broken home without a mum and dad who are still together. You know, that really does affect kids. And it's just the fact that the counselor was like blaming him originally for her cheating, and then she went and done it again. Yet again, guys and girls, if you're in a relationship with someone who's like that, a cheater, dump them, because at the end of the day, once a cheat, always a cheat. That time my ex asked me to use my veterans benefit to buy him a house. He can't even get an apartment. You should look into getting that VA loan and buy this house I want, and I'll pay you monthly for it, like you were talking about with the condo. I don't know, man. I have to live in it for 2 years and I can only get it once. Then help me get a mortgage, ... No! Help me come up with 5 to 10k then. This is a good deal. No, your house, your problem. I mean, yeah, how is this ex literally gonna ask you to like help her or him buy a house? That's so weird, isn't it? And keep in mind, this ex is asking this person to use their veteran benefits to help them buy a house. So I'm assuming they're like in the army. So basically this person puts their life in the line and their ex is asking them to basically buy them a house. Talk about entitled.
The pregnant ex keeps trying to move into my apartment. So I, 21 male, have an ex, Angelica, 20 female. Angelica and I had an on and off relationship since we were about 15, but got serious when COVID hit and I had to move back to my hometown. We got an apartment together, and very soon after she started spending a lot of time with her cousin. Long story short, she's sleeping with her cousin.
Oh god. Oh damn, that took a right turn, didn't it? Yeah, again, don't do it with your cousin, because the next baby she's gonna have is gonna come out with 5 legs. I also wonder what type of cousin we're, like first, second, third. It doesn't matter if it was 10th cousin, like don't go at it.
We break up. We've been broken up 9 months at this point. For 7 of those months, her phone has been on my phone bill and she owes me over $500. Fine, whatever. I'll never see that $500, and she always makes excuses to pay me back.
If someone makes excuses to pay you back and it's a constant thing, you need to stop giving them money. It happened to me a lot growing up. It's like you go out and you're like, oh, I'll pay for lunch or I'll pay for dinner, and your friends are like, oh my god, thank you so much, we'll pay you back. And then it's like every couple of weeks you're like, hey, do you have that money, can I have it back? And they're always like, oh no, sorry, I don't have it, like I don't have money, I don't get paid until next month. And then the next day they're out with other people buying stuff. What I've learned is don't spend money on people who just don't care about you. You know, if you want to maybe treat your friends every so often, that's completely fine. But if it's a situation where you know they owe you money and they're not paying it back, just completely cut them off because they're a crap friend.
That's life. My own fault for letting her keep using me as a cash cow. She also took my car when we broke up, and I let her because I was too afraid she would try to take my apartment too. Anyway, it's 9 months past our breakup. I get a message. Hey, I'm pregnant. I'm on my way home from work, so I don't respond. That is 9 months past being my problem. It is not my baby. She messages me again. My boyfriend, the one she cheated on me with, and I have nowhere to stay. Still 9 months past my problem.
Exactly, so this girl is literally pregnant from her ex, the boy that she cheated on this guy with. She's pregnant with his baby, she ain't got anywhere to live. Tough. Who does she think she is to try to move into his apartment? Talk about entitled. This ain't entitled, this is crazy.
Angelica has never worked a day in her life. She lives off the disability check from her boyfriend and spends it 99% on weed and fast food. She never paid rent and is documented to never pay rent. Anyway, she tells me my name is still on the lease. We're going to move in September. I tell her your name is not on the lease. It was renewed last month and I took your name off. I'm sorry. She messages me calling me an a-hole and saying she's moving in because she has nowhere for her baby and 3 dogs to stay.
Tough. Like, that's literally tough. That's your own fault. Also, why does a woman who doesn't have a job or any money get pregnant and have dogs? I don't understand that. It's like, where are the dogs that be getting fed if you don't have any money? It's weird. It's like I always say to people, if you don't have a good income or like a, you know, normal income, don't like get pets, because at the end of the day, if you can't pay for your lifestyle, don't get a dog, which you'll have to pay for, because dogs are expensive. You have to feed them, walk them, like they can't just sit in the house all day. You have to actually take care of them.
Mind you, my apartment is more like a studio and barely fits me, let alone 2 other people and 3 dogs. I tell her it's not happening. I'm moving out of town soon anyway. Also, come pick up her that she's left at my apartment for 9 months. She says no, and if I throw it away she's going to press charges. I tell her it doesn't matter because when I move I'm throwing it away. She later called my landlord and told him I was planning to move out. I got upset at this and told her I ran the numbers on the car. It's still in my name. Get the car out of my name now or I'm repossessing it, or she can leave me the F alone. She started bawling on a call asking how I could do this to her and her unborn child, and I was condemning her and her child to be homeless. She also still has a gun in my name that I told her to give back or I'm calling the cops.
Oh god, that took a bit of a sinister turn. Like, it's bad enough that like she's doing all that, but she's got a gun in your name. Nah, I'm sorry, what you need to do is literally lock your doors, because if you've got a crazy pregnant woman who like wants to be in your home and she's got a gun, now you need to run.
I'm really considering repossessing the car since it was mine from the start and is still in my name. She doesn't deserve to get a free car handed to her. She needs to wake up. She keeps saying she needs a place to stay. I'm ruining her and her baby's life.
I mean, you're not ruining anyone's life. She's ruined her life. She cheated on you. She decided to move out. She's got animals. She's pregnant. You know, she's a bit of a weirdo. I also feel really bad for him because he genuinely seems like a really nice guy. He feels like the type of person who wouldn't kick someone whenever they're going through something. And the thing is, this girl is going through something because of her own actions. So I hope that he got the car back, kicked her out, gave her stuff back, and just moved out and got the hell away from her. And I also feel really bad for that child, because imagine having a mother like that. This is an actual text between a friend of mine and his ex. ex. Yes, you were sketching me out. Just ask whatever the F you were gonna ask. I don't get why you haven't yet. When Zach gets here, can I use your card? Oh, and I know it's a no. I just gotta ask had to. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to blur that out. Are you effing kidding me right now? You're effing disgusting, pathetic. Don't effing talk. And that is the rest of the messages. Let's just say she wanted to use his card to, you know, have something inside of her mouth. And I think we all know what that was.
Entitled ex-husband gets what he deserves. After dealing with my husband, 29M, cheating on me and loudly disrespecting me for 2 years, I, 23F, finally left him 4 months ago. He assumed no responsibility for the marital bills and I had to sell the house and his truck by myself. When I left him, there was also a $400 phone bill in both of our names. I ended up just paying the overdue bill a few months ago under the stipulation that my ex-husband gives me $200 for his share. He gave me $90 then laughed at me for expecting him to pay me the other $110 stating that he doesn't owe me anything. About a week ago, I went into the store of my current cell phone provider and learned that I am paying twice as much as I should be paying for phone, because I am still being charged $40 per month for my ex-husband's phone. There's still $800 plus owed on it. I learned that the remaining balance was not transferred over because he failed to sign the required paperwork. I explained the situation to my ex-husband and he was more than willing to join a conference call with me and customer service to get the remaining balance transferred to his own account. We had spent approximately 20 minutes on the phone before my ex-husband told the customer service woman that he is making payments on his own phone through his own account, that he doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about and that whatever I have called to inquire about it is clearly not even his business. Then he hung up. So today I spoke with customer service again and learned that I technically own the phone since it is in my name. So I made a police report. I reported the phone is stolen and it is now flagged and shut off.
And let's hope that he gets arrested. I mean, it's quite crazy to think that you and him were obviously in love. You know, you were married, had a relationship. I don't know if you had kids. But, you know, you and him had true love for each other. And then whenever your relationship broke down, you just turned so sour and, like, bitter. I've noticed that with a lot of relationships. It's actually quite sad and scary. It's like one minute you can be in love and love each other. And the next you can literally be enemies. Or, like, they can be so bitter towards you. I've never been in a relationship. I'm not really planning one. And I'm scared because something like that. Obviously, I'd love relationship. You know, to love being there for someone. But I think it's the fact that sometimes it can break down and you can become enemies. And like I don't have it in my heart to act like him, but I don't know if whoever I was dating would like act that way towards me, if you get me. It's quite scary, isn't it? My partner's ex wanted me to do a free promotional photo shoot for her birthday. Also, may I add, photo shoots are very, very expensive. They can usually cost a couple $100. Hey babe, do you think you could bring your camera to my birthday and be a photographer for it? Yeah, if you're paying for my dinner. Don't worry about it. One day that is meant to be about me, somehow it's still flipped around and still has to benefit you. Like, damn, just do something for someone else to be nice. And that is the end of that message, thank God. So basically this person wasn't happy that, you know, they're actually gonna have to pay and like, you know, beg for someone's food. That is how it works. It kind of reminds me of an entitled influencer. You know, they genuinely think they're gonna get everything for free. Well, anyways guys, that is some entitled exes. If you have an entitled ex, let me know a wee story about them down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching this point. If you have already, press the bell, subscribe button, and yes, I'll see you all tomorrow for another video.